Good evening, and welcome to the Bit and Knitters podcast. It is Monday, April 16th, 2018. My name is Jacqueline. Arthur's here.
Go Leaf Skull.
And Ryan's here.
Hello.
Cynthia, Ryan.
Hello, Nia.
What's the name? Tenderoni? What pepperoni? What was her name?
Sukiyaki Tenderoni.
What the fuck?
That's another one of Ryan's alter egos, I think.
Ah.
So how's everybody doing? How's the weekend?
All right. Messy.
Oh yeah, we had a big ice storm.
I think like even the entire north had an ice storm. You know, because even I know Minnesota got fucking hit pretty hard.
Yeah, Wisconsin. And I saw the rain in the New York subway systems.
Oh my god, it was crazy over here. It went from raining really bad to sunny in a heartbeat.
Well, at least you got some sun. We're still raining and whatever else is falling down out there.
Yeah. Big sheets of ice off top of the CN Tower.
Yeah, damaging the Sky Dome. Or sorry, Rogers Center.
Sky Dome. It always is.
I know, me too. Always Sky Dome. Yeah. But that's April, right?
Yeah.
April in Toronto.
Yeah.
I feel like this year it's been a little weirder than even norm. It's true. We normally do get some funky weather come April, but this year it's been odd.
I feel like this weekend was worse than anything we had all the rest. Even the snow. None of the snow was that bad compared to the stupid, slushy, rainy, icy shit.
Yeah.
Watching my dog try to get down the stairs all tenderly so she doesn't slip down.
Mine fucking literally fell down the fucking deck yesterday. Yeah, not fucking good.
Yeah, poor babies.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Got a couple little updates for you here. We have, we're talking about cannabis, marijuana becoming legalized in Canada this year. Ontario has announced the location of the first 4 stores that we know of that will open. They're going to be in Guelph, Kingston, and Thunder Bay, and Toronto. But the interesting thing about Toronto is I really assumed it would be the West End or downtown.
Yeah.
It's really very close to the border of Scarborough in East York.
Makes sense.
Yeah, on Gerrard Street. And I know there was the big whole thing where they're talking about they couldn't be, close to school zones and all this stuff. But I thought there's no way you can get anywhere in Toronto without being near a school unless you're in an industrial plaza somewhere.
Yeah.
But they put this in a plaza where apparently there's a what do you call that? The Kumon, tutoring services or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And I think there's a Food Basics there, and I think there's a Tim Hortons there. So.
Fuck it. Who cares where they go?
Yeah, exactly.
If it's a dispensary.
And I saw that our premier was upset that it would be close to schools, and I'm like in my comments I was like, there's a liquor store literally across the street from the grade school my children went to.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Well, the difference is we're accustomed to alcohol. Alcohol has been the norm, right?
Alcoholics walking down the street drunk, yelling in the schoolyard fences at my kids. That's what happened all the time.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody high on weed would be doing that.
No, not at all. No, that's stupid as shit.
Yeah.
I don't see what the hubbub is about the whole fucking thing. And in all honesty, I don't. Yeah. I really don't get it. It's I mean, who fucking cares?
And it doesn't matter because you still have to be 19 years of age or older to buy the marijuana, the same as alcohol. Yeah. You're not going to come out and you're not allowed to smoke it on the street. So, I mean, I've seen people walking down the street drinking a King Can all the time. So, I mean, it's no difference. And kids in most cases aren't going to know, even if somebody was walking by this school smoking a joint. In most cases, you're just going to think it's a cigarette anyway, unless you're close enough to smell it. Come on.
Yeah, it's a fucking non-issue in all honesty. I can understand, the cafes and shit like that, you not wanting that next door to a school. Okay.
Yeah.
I understand that. A dispensary? Nah, go fuck yourself. That's stupid. I mean, convenience stores are all around schools. I can buy cigarettes there.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's the same.
Rolling papers you can buy there, vape supplies you can buy at these stores. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Bongs on display at our corner store.
Crack pipes.
Yeah.
Even.
Yeah.
I love that. You walk into the fucking local convenience store and they're selling these little tubes with a rose in it. They're like, oh, it's perfume. No, that's a crack pipe. That's a crack pipe. That's a fucking crack pipe. I love the fact that I can walk into a corner store and be like, yeah, can I get,
You should give those to everybody for Christmas, Arthur.
Here's a bunch of crack pipes.
That's the rose. It's beautiful.
That should go over real well.
and then another little update, which I thought was pretty ingenious. So we have a coffee chain here in Canada called Second Cup.
Yeah.
They're going to convert some stores now, obviously in the provinces where you're allowed to have an open market, unlike Ontario. They're converting some of their stores into dispensaries.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Make the money where the money's to be made. Yep. Come on.
No, it's as much as I want the government to benefit from this, I don't believe the government should have a stranglehold on the whole legal marijuana shit.
You can make so much more money with an open market because people would go into edibles and to coffee shops and to even like a hotel. Where I had the genius idea of opening like a bed and breakfast or a hotel where people could come and do tourism. Safely try marijuana for the first time if you've never tried it, edibles, whatever, and you're in a safe environment, you know?
Yeah, like they do in Colorado. Pot tourism is huge. It's fucking huge.
Yeah, exactly.
And they make a good fucking bit of money off of it.
Yeah, and that tax is still going to the government.
I understand that there's going to be some growing pains throughout this, but it's fucking dumb.
I hope in a few years that they open up the market.
The thing is, though, they got the government and people with these older mentalities have to stop thinking of marijuana like it's fucking heroin. It's not that bad. Like all these rules and stipulations they're fucking arguing over is stupid as fuck to me. Like just say it's the same laws as fucking smoking tobacco and boom, let's just get her fucking going. I'm tired of government
it's the same like alcohol. You can go to any bar. Taco Bell is getting a liquor license. Like, you know what I mean? Like you have to, you can't drink and drive. You can't be publicly intoxicated, like really intoxicated. The same is going to go for marijuana.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. No, it's just a lot of fucking people dragging their feet. And to me, it's just dumb. There's no need for it.
So, let me give a little update. So I tried the edible that I got from my associate. Sister Patty was here at my birthday and she made me split it with her. I didn't really feel anything.
No, it's
because it was only half too, right?
Well, it's a little gummy.
Yeah, it was a little gummy. But I will say that I got a joint from a friend for my birthday, and I literally saw in 3D on my computer after that. Literally, the words were coming up off the screen at me, and I was like, whoa, I am extremely fucked up. So I went to sleep. I went to sleep.
Yeah, I fucking haven't been that high since I was a teenager. I pay good money for that. All right, on.
Some of my blood, and you'll like have virgin blood in your body.
Like I said about the edibles, like the gummies, they're fucking weak. Like I don't see a point in them. I've eaten full fucking bags of them, and they claim that they're 80 milligram fucking THC each, and they're garbage.
I was scared, so I just took a little bit.
See, and that's the other thing. And I mean, it's as fucking weird as it is, and how pro drug this is going to sound. You can't be nervous when you're taking drugs. Don't ever. Seriously, I'm dead fucking serious here. If you're ever doing drugs and you're scared to do said drug, don't do it. You're gonna have a bad time. Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I kind of got worried was going to happen to me. That I was going to have a paranoid bad trip.
Yep, and you could, especially with the edibles. The edibles can affect you in a way that you do start to hallucinate. I mean, it's not like acid or fucking, mushrooms even at that extent, but no, they can absolutely affect you to the point where you may hallucinate. You have to understand that it's your liver is now filtering out the THC.
Yeah.
Which is, that it's goes straight to your bloodstream. It's not like it's just in your lungs and it slowly filters through. I mean, you're now fucking, you're high. But,
yeah. Yeah, I'll try a larger portion next time, I guess. We'll see.
I know. Who knows? Maybe your favorite nephew will make some cookies.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so let's have another little update. We talked about to death these gun laws, and then Marjorie Stoneman Douglas and teachers having access to guns. Well, Marjorie Stoneman Douglas teacher, let me get his name here because, Sean Smithson. He was locked and loaded, and I don't think was he at school? Oh, no, he was at the Deerfield Beach Pier. Went into the bathroom, took out his 9mm Glock, and left it in the bathroom. But he wants to be at school with his guns, too.
Yeah, of course. What an idiot.
Jeez Louise. No guns at school from teachers. This is what I'm saying. I'm not going to debate the gun shit. We already done it a million times, but
it's just
no guns at school.
Yeah, I mean, again, it just goes to show you that everybody's fallible. You know what I mean?
Like, exactly.
That's why that whole idea is just the stupidest fucking thing I have ever heard.
Yeah, I agree. Let's talk about this story. Now, we always see every year there's a story. I don't know if it happens in America so much, but in Canada it seems to happen a lot. And it all has to do with flags. Whether flags go up for Gay Pride Week, whether flags are lowered to half-mast. So people in this town in, where the hell is this town? Mississippi Mills. It's in Eastern Ontario. They refused to lower their flag to half-staff to honor the 16 people killed, the Humboldt Broncos, the hockey players that died last week or 2 weeks ago. The rules are very tight in regards to how they can lower the mast. This is what the mayor is saying. The people are angry, and they took it upon themselves to lower at least one of the town's flags.
You can't force me to fucking show sympathy. You can't force a town to show sympathy. I mean, is it a classless act? Possibly, depending on how soft of a human being you are. Yeah. But I see no issue with that town saying no.
Yeah.
Is it tragic? Yes. Do I feel for the whole Humboldt community? Absolutely. But you're not going to tell me that I have to fucking mourn this loss. Fuck you.
Well, the mayor made a good point. He's like, yeah, it's a horrible calamity, but we would spend every day lowering our flag. He talked about the 23 Indian school children that died in the bus crash the day after the Humboldt tragedy.
Exactly.
And he's right. But he also says that I guess there's some issues going on. I think there's some tea in this town because he's like, it's from a group of perennial complainers.
Yes.
An illustrious cabal of complainers that never mention that.
Wow. That's a good way of fucking putting that, bud. Like, you're a wordsmith.
This mayor.
Yeah,
I love this mayor.
That's pretty good shit right there. That's good stuff.
An illustrious cabal of complainers.
Wow.
You need to put that into your trollisms.
Yeah. But it's just, I noticed this when I was obviously a hell of a lot younger on 9/11. There were people that, kind of refused to, do their moment of silence and shit like that. And I appreciate what they said. Like, it's a tragedy, but you can't force me to show sympathy.
Yeah.
You're correct. You can't.
And there's a lot of rules and things. Like, do you remember you might not remember because you were young, when Diana died?
I remember.
And they wanted them to lower the flag at Buckingham Palace to half-mast, which they don't do unless an actual king or queen passes away.
Yeah.
And, the fervor of the people, they were forced to lower it.
Well, and nowadays you have people that are fucking, just constantly offended. You know what I mean? It's this culture of just constant being offended. So it's not a big fucking surprise that somebody would be fucking butthurt over someone not giving a fuck about something you give a fuck about.
Yeah, and that's it. If you don't give a I mean, I feel sad, but I haven't done anything in my life to, to honor these people. I mentioned to Scott about the hockey sticks, but his hockey sticks had been left outside, so they were all damaged, so he couldn't put them out. Yeah. Beyond that, I mean, we're not like whipping ourselves into a frenzy over this. We don't know these people personally. I feel horrible, but that's it.
It's tragic, but I mean, am I supposed to leave out a fucking skewer kebab for all the kids that just died in the Syrian fucking chemical attack?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, and I understand what I just said there was completely fucking racist and
wrong.
It
was horrible.
But whatever. But it's still.
If you left a kebab out, I'd come to your house and eat it.
Why would I leave out a kebab? That's just delicious. Like, that sounds nothing like me at all. That stuff is amazing. But no, it's just I hate this stuff. I hate this culture of fucking fake outrage. Like, fuck out of here. No one really cares. Like, even the people that put the sticks out and shit like that. Do you honestly think they did it because they cared? Or you think they did it because they want the fucking virtue signal and be like, look, see how compassionate I am? See how much I care?
Yeah.
No one fucking gives a shit. Like, fuck you.
Yeah. I always feel that way too. Like, when I see people like, oh, I gave $1 to a homeless person. Congratulations.
Yeah.
If you really cared, you wouldn't be telling everybody you gave $1 to a homeless person.
If you really cared, you would have taken that motherfucker back to your house, let him fucking shower, write a resume, use your address to fucking find a job. Like, fuck out of here.
Yeah, for real.
People do the bare minimum. And they think they deserve like fucking praise, even with this fucking Humboldt tragedy. Like, I've seen a lot of people that put out hockey sticks that were kind of getting butthurt because they didn't get the attention that they thought they were going to garner through it. And it's like, no one cares. Like, no one cares about your fucking virtue signaling. You're the only person that thinks that you're doing the world like this great fucking service by, doing the bare fucking minimum. I mean, why don't you donate an entire month's worth of fucking pay to a family that was affected by it? Then maybe I'll be like, oh,
someone's
shit.
Funeral. Pay for their funeral.
Exactly. Yeah. Then maybe I'll be like, fuck, man, this guy really gives a shit about this.
Yeah.
But no.
Or, you know, I'm surprised we haven't seen, and I've never seen this yet, but I bet you it's coming sooner or later when somebody does do like donate to a GoFundMe and they take like a screenshot and then put it on their like Facebook or something. Be like,
yeah.
you know, like Jacqueline donated $50. Oh my God, I'm such a good person.
I have a story about that if you guys don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead, Ryan.
I actually have a person in my life right now who I care for them. They had set up a GoFundMe page for their offsprings, you know, and more than at least 3 times it has been mentioned you still haven't donated. And I
can I ask what is for their offspring? Is it for like school? Is it for
gymnastics? Gymnastics.
Okay.
I want to try to be as
yeah, you can just set a sport. Yeah.
And I kind of really wanted to respond with, it's not my fault you have 5.
No, it's not your job to pay for them to have an extracurricular activity.
Like,
no.
It's like, I don't find it necessary. Like, because first of all, I grew up with the mentality of, if your parents couldn't afford it, you couldn't have it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
I didn't play hockey. I didn't play soccer. I didn't do gymnastics. I didn't do dance. I did nothing.
That's why for me it's like, you know, I understand like you want to try to give as much as you can to your kids, but there is a level of, you know what I'm saying, like it's only for a week. And
I mean, it's one thing if you put it out there, right? Mm-hmm. And then you've asked people, you don't contact the people that haven't donated. That's horrible. I'd be like, you are not my friend anymore and never talk to me.
That's such poor taste.
Well, no, this person has said it in public, in front of other people, with us hanging out at least more than once.
I'd be like, it's never coming.
Yeah,
I would say that to them honestly. It's never coming.
Yeah.
If you don't like that, then I guess we're not good friends. But I'm not here to subsidize your parenting.
I don't feel like it's necessary for me to donate.
It's not.
Honestly,
no, it's not.
I don't think it's necessary for me to donate. I can donate in another way, like maybe your children maybe need like, you know, outfits for whatever. But you're not going to force me to donate because you think that I should feel. No, I don't feel that.
No.
You shouldn't.
I don't feel that they
not your
go
kids.
to, you know, camp for God knows how.
Go to the corner and fucking suck a dick and make some money.
Right?
Jesus.
You know, and this is why I always hate the whole argument of equality of opportunity. Unfortunately, equality of opportunity is a fucking lie because you do not deserve the same opportunities as other people. You don't.
Yeah.
And this is a glaring example of it. I'm sorry that your kids are into dance, and I'm sorry that you as the parent can't afford to put your kid through the things that your kid wants to do, but that is on you. You can beg all you fucking want. I don't care if you want to, you know, set up a GoFundMe and beg for money, but you cannot fucking put someone on the spot and say like, well, you haven't given my kid money.
Yeah, I don't care. You want to start a GoFundMe, go for it. You want me to, I'll even share it for you.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I have to put my money into it.
Fuck no.
Yeah, I don't feel terrible. Like people, there's this, okay, let me explain a little bit about Ryan or Cynthia or whatever I feel like going by that day. I do care about politics a lot. I do care about people's livelihoods and how they feel a lot. But I am a very carefree person. I think I've told you guys the story of how a person had described me to be carefree, and I was kind of a little bit like, oh my God, that's a little offensive. And they explain it like you just don't, and the truth is, it's true. I really just don't care about a lot of things. Yeah. I did not grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. As you guys know, I grew up when I was younger with a little bit more fortunate than others, but we also kind of had a value of what a dollar was worth. Not to say that this person doesn't value that. I think they do. But at the same time, it's not everybody's responsibility to contribute to you because you feel like you have a struggle.
No, but just think about how we were raised. Yeah. Can you imagine your parents, Ryan, if you were like I know it didn't exist when we were kids, but like you went out there and you were like panhandling for money for you to go and do opera. Mm-hmm. The same as Arthur. Would your parents have wanted you out panhandling for hockey money?
No.
No, and my
That's what
family.
GoFundMe pages are. Yeah, they're basically for panhandling.
Yeah.
Like, it's really just kind of a form of
At
internet
least,
panhandling.
you know what? Give this lady here. I'll give you some advice to this lady. You can tell her she wants to raise real money quickly. Have a 50-50 draw.
Yeah.
That will raise money because people will donate if they know they're getting back. So if she raises $100, the person gets $50 back. And in most cases, a lot of people will just give it over and say, that's okay, you keep the money.
Yeah. Well, but the thing is, too, like, I don't feel like I'm entitled to donate because, and I haven't explained this, and if they are listening, you're going to get
No
an explanation.
offense.
Yeah, no offense. I really feel like this is not a necessity in life. This is something
No.
that this is a luxury. This is, I think, 30. I think the whole cost would be about like $4,000 or something like that dollars. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is. Let me tell
No.
you, because I have been commented by this person about how I spend a lot of money on my luxuries that I like.
You earn your money and you
my-
can spend it
yeah,
how you fucking
how I
choose.
feel. Exactly. And it's like, I'm not going to be, not that they make me feel bad. I'm not going to feel bad that that's my adult liking.
Yeah.
That's, your adult liking is that you want to provide for your kids. Well, I don't have kids for a reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I
Because
don't
they
have kids
cost
for
a lot of
reason.
money.
Yeah,
They
do.
cost a lot of money and they want to be in all these programs and stuff.
And
Thank God
that's
my kids didn't want to
good.
do anything like that.
Yeah, good for you. And
That
you want
is.
you want to give better for them, but that's not you.
Yeah.
What the fuck does this teach your kids?
Yeah.
No, it's okay. Just go out and beg. Just go and beg. Don't better yourself. Don't fucking go out and work for what the fuck it is you want. Just beg. Just beg for it. Because if they don't give it up, then we just publicly shame them until they do give it up.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit.
Yeah.
How about sending your fucking kids outside to shovel some driveways or mow some fucking lawns? Pay for your own
You
goddamn
always see
fucking
these
dancing.
Athletes or these dancers or these gymnasts, and what do they always say? My mom and dad worked extra jobs so that I could do this. If your kid has potential, you'll do it.
The one thing that I kind of have learned is my parents never took from somebody else's mouth to give to ours. It was always that they what mouth they provided, whatever it is that they provided for us, they provided without having to take from somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
I don't like that, and that the kind of culture we're creating. This is why girls are out there selling their virginity online and shit.
Yeah, because listen, I have earned a scholarship. My first few years of college was absolutely free because of my scholarships, right? And that was because I worked really, really hard, and it wasn't because Ryan was bougie. So yeah, I was on a scholarship and I was walking around with a Vuitton, but guess what? I was working.
Yeah.
And so I was able to buy Vuitton because of that. But I didn't panhandle outside and expected somebody to give me, not that there's anything wrong with panhandling, $500 to go buy me my pack of cigarettes or whatever the case was. I never did that. I've always earned what I had. And so it's like, when it had been mentioned a few times to me, I kind of wanted to say something along the lines of, it's not my responsibility to
It's not. You didn't birth them children. You didn't make those children. It's not your responsibility.
No, it's like, and I'm not going to be made to feel bad to donate to something. Like, you should be doing that on your, that's on you.
And don't try to fucking publicly shame me. That's not a friend. That's a horrible thing to do to somebody.
Like, you mentioned this more than quite a few times. Like,
which means that they really are. You know what I mean? They really believe that you should be donating if they've mentioned it more than once.
I don't know. The truth is, I'm the kind of person that no matter how many times in life you mention something to me about blah, 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 if I don't believe in it, I don't do it.
No, and you shouldn't.
No, that's bullshit. You can't be blackmailed into fucking donations. Fuck that nonsense. Like, you know what I mean? I say this stuff all the time. You can't compel me to do shit. If I don't want to do it, then, suck a fucking dick. Like, you're not going to compel me. You're not going to guilt me. You're not going to do anything because fuck you. You made the choice. You know what I mean? Like, even if the fucking pregnancies were accidental, hoopty fucking ding dong, that's still on you. Like, that's not on me. That's not my fucking
on
life.
that, though.
Right?
Yeah, like, I'm sorry to say, but I kind of agree with that mentality. It's just, for example, I have a niece, and I buy her the things that I want to buy. And I was told by a family member, well, why don't you buy her clothes? Because that's not what I want to give.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't get to dictate to me what I want to give.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. If you want to buy your fucking niece, like, again, a Louis Vuitton purse, even for her to ruin, that's on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's your fucking choice. No one can compel you to do shit.
There's
It's what I
all
hate
these
about this
people
whole
out there
fucking
buying
shit.
these like $100 Nike shoes for their kids,
Yeah.
right? How's that any
Fucking
difference than somebody? I mean, the kids are gonna grow out of it in like 3 weeks, but if they want to buy it, let them buy it. It's their money.
Yeah, that's kind. I mean, granted, yes, you're going to be judged. We're all judged for our actions and our mentalities and our, especially nowadays, so easily judged. But at the same time, like I am entitled to give however I want to give. Like if I feel like this is what's necessary, this is what's necessary. I'm not going to provide for you, right? A luxury that I feel like isn't
It's not
yours to
necessary.
have.
Well, forced charity isn't charity.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not fucking charity. Like, no. I'm sorry. And I mean, let's fucking face it too. Them kids are gonna go to 2 dance classes and fucking stop.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, not the fucking. I obviously don't know these fucking kids, but I'm willing to bet like they're not really that fucking into it. It's more of a way for the parents to fucking dish their fucking kids off for an hour or so, and do whatever fucking wine mommies fucking
No,
do.
I mean, I will say that this person, their children really are very dedicated to it, and but at the same time, I was also very dedicated to a few things that I wish would have happened in my life.
Exactly.
But I had to work for that to happen for me. I didn't go and say, "Hey, Jacqueline, blah 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 blah," or "Hey, Arthur, blah 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 blah," because it's like Cardi B said in her song, "I make money moves." Like I'm gonna make the moves for me, just so. And this is what I tell people all the time. The reason why I do things the way I want things to be done, and I do them for myself, is because I don't want to hear this.
Mm-hmm.
This is the one thing I don't want to hear. Exactly what we're doing right now is what I don't want to hear. So you can't tell me, "Oh, but Ryan, you remember when you asked me for that?" Exactly that.
Yeah.
That's why you should do shit for you, because then nobody can say shit to you.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
No, not owing anybody is nice. Like,
It really is.
It's nice
really,
to not
really,
owe
really
anybody shit, but not fuck that nonsense. Like, in all honesty, if you want to set up a GoFundMe account for someone else, like the Humboldt thing, which did raise a lot of money, but that wasn't set up by one of the victims or the victims' families to try to garner sympathy or charity. I can respect that, and that might be something that even me, being the least charitable fucking person you'll ever meet, might donate to. But you will never compel me to donate or even to show sympathy. Like,
can you imagine if I had a GoFundMe set up for one of my kids and I'm like, "Arthur, you still haven't donated?"
Yeah.
Like, that'd be like, what a douchey thing to do.
It was mentioned to me quite a few times.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
quite
bad.
a few times. It was, and it really did. It kind of bothered me, and it's kind of what started to kind of make me feel, oh.
But I've scrolled GoFundMe. Have you ever looked? It's like people asking for wedding money. There's people asking for vacations. I mean, I can see. I had a friend who shared a GoFundMe for her son. Her son is a very talented hockey player, and there was a chance for him to go and be scouted by the teams in London. And but they had to fly there, so she was raising money for that. Which, I mean, I didn't donate because I didn't have the money. But I mean, I can understand that. To me, isn't a reasonable thing. Right? But a lot of these things is just like, what the frick? No, I'm not paying for you to go on a gap year to Europe, bitch.
You can ask all you want, but don't think that you can compel me, right? Exactly. Do not think that you can fucking compel me to give a shit.
And
I've seen ones for funerals because old Joey had an OD and didn't have any money for a funeral and stuff like that. But,
fuck it. Who cares?
Life insurance.
Yeah.
Do they give junkies life insurance?
I don't know. I guess if you got it before you became a junkie.
Huh.
Yeah, and you can get life insurance even if you are a junkie.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's fucked
Every
up.
month
But even that, I got into an argument a little while ago where somebody I knew fucking overdosed on fentanyl. And, everyone from my peer group was all, it's so tragic. It's so tragic. I'm like, why? He stuck a fucking needle of fentanyl in his arm and died. Like, zero sympathy. I don't fucking care.
Everybody knows fentanyl will kill you.
Right?
So if you take that, that's like as if you
That's
took the
on
fucking
you.
bath salts. You're dumb.
Exactly. That's on you. You're not gonna get me to give you any sympathy.
Yeah.
And it's like pretty much everything.
There's actually there's a funny story about that. We no longer speak to each other, but you guys are aware about this, especially Jacqueline. I had a friend who wanted me to pay her cell phone bill because she didn't have any, because she was using crystal meth. It's like, bitch, bye.
Yeah, right.
You want me to feel bad for you because you're struggling because you have a fucking addiction to something.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me? Like, people don't realize, like, I don't have something called misplaced, I tell people all the time, like, misplaced emotions. I don't have misplaced sympathy.
No.
You did that to yourself, too fucking bad. Bye.
Like, there's some cases with opiate addiction where you can get some sympathy out of me. I do understand that when doctors prescribe it to some fucking people, that's a life fucking sentence for a lot of people, you know. And you can gain a little bit of sympathy from me for that. But most of that, fuck no. I know who you are, and I know the choice that you made to fucking do drugs, like to do opiates. Zero sympathy. I don't care that you overdosed. Is it tragic for your family? Yeah. Do I feel for them? Yeah. Do I feel sympathy for the fact that this idiot fucking killed himself? No. One fucking bit. I'm not gonna fucking joke or make fun of the dead. You know what I mean? Because that's just piss poor fucking taste. But fuck you. And I mean, if you're gonna fucking sit there and be like, oh well, fucking junkie Charlie couldn't afford his fucking funeral, well then too bad. Like, that's not my fucking fault. That's not my fault. It's not my problem.
Yeah. Well, sorry. Go ahead.
I honestly would like to see a time where we stop fucking looking at each other for charitable handouts for shit that is beyond everyone else's control. If you did it to yourself, then fuck you. Own up to your fucking bullshit. I am so sick and tired of no accountability. Oh no, but I need help. Fuck you. I don't care. You did it.
You cannot talk to me about that, because Jacqueline and I have spent countless hours in the past 365 days constantly discussing that. And that is the one thing that I wish people would just own up to. Hold yourself accountable for your part. And then after that, you can call yourself a fucking adult.
Like, I've done some horrible fucking stuff in my life. And I mean stuff that I am fucking deeply, deeply embarrassed by. And I own up to it. I mean, I don't like to admit it outright, but
it's not everybody's business, but to like people that it matters to, like Liz
that knows me and seen me through that period of my life. I own it, and it's embarrassing and it's fucking disgusting, and I hate myself a little bit for it, but it's the truth. I did it. I have to fucking own up to it.
Own up to it, yeah.
We need more of that. We need more people. And this GoFundMe shit to me is kind of been a pockmark on that. That style of thinking.
No,
it's gone from what it was, like, oh, let's raise money for, like tsunami victims, or let's raise money for acid victims. That sort of stuff. You're like, oh, I'll give money to that.
Yeah.
But then you've got, Megan wants to go to fucking Dominican Republic for spring break.
Fucking fund my ketamine-fueled Coachella weekend. Like, no. No.
Yeah.
No. Like, fuck you. Coachella's shit. I hope Destiny's Child fucking sucks. You paid too much. Go fuck yourself.
But it's just a different kind of atmosphere that we have now with how people feel. And I don't know if we have time, Jacqueline, for me to talk about what I wanted to discuss.
Yeah, go ahead. Go for it.
This kind of opens it up. So I was reading this article. I don't remember exactly where I had read it from. I want to say it was either BuzzFeed or even New York Times. But about how people, this is weird, it's global, how they vote because they feel entitled to something. So, por ejemplo, I will vote for X person, whomever it is, it doesn't matter who, because that person promised me that I would get more money. And so you are willing to sell part of your soul or part of your whatever,
your ethics, your morals, your integrity,
to this person, and even sell out your family because you feel entitled to that one thing. And one of the things that I realized about how true that is, I had a friend who I no longer speak to as well, but this is a common thread in my life. But we were discussing politics and stuff, and she had said, and I quote, you don't understand politics because you're only looking out for yourself. And I said, explain. I'm looking out for the people who want to keep their guns.
Huh.
Bitch, I wish you would have seen my goddamn face. I was like, what?
What a fucking bunch of grandstanding that is. Jesus
Yeah.
fucking
But
Christ.
That's not the best. Or in the same context, in the same comment, it was said, me and my husband are struggling that they live in this beautiful house with their beautiful furniture, with their millions of reptiles, literally lots of reptiles, but they're struggling because they both have drug problems.
Huh?
That's your fault. You're living outside your means with a
Yeah.
drug addiction. Fuck off. I don't care about you.
Nope.
And I'll never forget being I would like to think I'm a rational person. Rational people don't typically say that, but you know what I mean? Like feeling like I was irrational for wanting to scold a person who felt entitled to something that you would be willing to sell out a friend,
Yeah.
you would be willing to sell out family, because you felt like you should have your gun. You should have your blah, 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 blah. So then, fuck the 364 other million people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That have the real struggle. And so you vote the way that you do. Because we see this. This is happening right now currently in the Philippines. They voted this guy in, President Duterte, who was just a tyrant. You know what I mean? Because they said he will make change. Well, y'all are still fucking struggling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all are still fucking complaining. It's just that now more people are fucking dying.
That's the lie
You know
of
what I
politics, though. That's
Mhm.
always been the lie
Well,
of
yeah.
politics. Regardless of the politician, they all make lies. You know what I mean? They
Mhm.
all just fucking say
Promises
shit,
just to get your vote.
right? But that's, I mean, it is a true point. Like, people do feel entitled to tell you how to think, how to lean, how to express your personal, I mean, and especially as far as you go, your personal constitutional rights. You know what I mean? Like, I was saying that to my one gun nut buddy when me and him were arguing about this whole fucking thing. You have no right to tell anyone else how to express their fucking constitutional rights, just how they don't really have a right to tell you how to express yours. That's a fact. But you also can't fault people for trying to go through the proper channels and changing said constitution.
Well, I shouldn't have to walk around, and this is a big statement for me to make. I shouldn't have to walk around the streets fearing that somebody will pull out a gun because they're not feeling mentally well and start shooting people. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody should. Nowhere. And anywhere in the world should people feel unsafe to walk their own fucking streets. Like, nobody should. It's an unfortunate thing about just humanity. I mean, people are always going to take that easy road, and let's face it, strong arm robbery is pretty fucking easy to pull off. If I have a weapon, then I've pretty much already beat it. You know what I mean? Like, I've pretty much already won this encounter. And that's alluring for a lot of people. People are lazy. People are fucking lazy, and they want what they want right then and there, and they're not afraid to, I mean, take it by fucking force. It's a disgusting part of humanity, but it's fucking true.
But it's become more, I think in the past, shall we say 10 years, this has, for me, become kind of part of the norm. And I'm not attacking any Republican or any Democrat about this, or any party anywhere in the world about this, but I do feel like we have fed people a promise that we can't keep up with. No one wants to take themselves accountable for the supposed things that they said they would do. And so now these very entitled people, whomever you are, will sell you out.
Oh yeah.
Because they want that extra. By the way, just to talk about that new tax law that came into play in the United States, I saw an extra $5 on my picture.
Ooh, Ryan, $5.
$5. Literally saw an extra $5.
It's the greatest lie a politician can tell the masses, is that through me, you will gain monetarily. And people will always bite that fucking hook.
And the problem is people don't see that poor and middle class people will never gain monetarily from the government.
Of course not. So he's
rich.
No government.
But we will all always bite into that promise.
Yeah.
It's just who we are. You know, it's just life, man. We all want it to be easier. We all want, you know, to live that fucking luxurious fucking life that we see on Instagram or whatever. You know, it's true. It's a moral of us, like, you know, to sell out the general population for our own personal gain, but we'll all fucking do it. You know, like every single person. And like Ryan was saying, regardless of country, regardless of political leanings, we will all sell each other out for fucking for personal gain.
Personal gain, yeah.
You know,
which is the really, 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 really unfortunate part of it.
It sucks. You know, it's
how
because we all have fucking very narrow worldviews, and we do. You know, even people that like to think like, oh, I think of on the broader scope, and I like to, care about the problems elsewhere in the world. You're still only doing it through your narrow scope. You're still only doing it for your own personal gain, even if that is just feeling better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's, I don't know.
I don't know if it's because I'm somewhat of a recluse, and help me out here, guys, if I'm using the wrong words and terminologies about myself. When I do something, I tend to be very quiet about it. I don't know if it's because I'm private or I'm this or I'm delusional. I just try not to make a hoopla about things.
You don't need Facebook likes to fucking validate your existence.
No.
You know,
I don't really need anybody to validate the fact that I live. You know what I mean?
Is.
It's like that's my whole thing is if I'm going to do something, and I said this before, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it because I want to do it, not because I feel pressured or I feel like I'm going to be recognized for it. And I just don't feel like parts of my life need to be publicly out there. Like if I were to do something, I feel like I'm going to do it because I want to, and I have to. Not because of the Facebook likes or the Instagram likes or the pics. And a lot of people I find do this because it's the situation that we are in. And so it's just recognized constantly. Like, okay, for example, let's say I go on vacation somewhere. I'm just the kind of person that just disappears. I'm not, you're not going to see me posting pictures 100 times.
You see, I'm even guilty for that.
Yeah, I like sharing pictures. I
you know
like
what I mean?
Those vacation pictures.
Now, it's funny because like I go home like once a year. I go to the East Coast. I post 0 pictures. But you get me in a place like Germany or England or something like that. Yeah, I'm going to post pictures. And it's not because I want that instant gratification. In all honesty, it's because I want to make people fucking jealous. I want them to be like, God damn it. Like, God damn it. I want to go see castles. Well, fuck you, motherfucker. I'm here. You know what I mean? Like, I don't give a shit about that. I don't get my gratification from people like heart reacting my shit. I get gratification from the messages going, I'm so jealous. Like, yeah, you shouldn't. Fuck you.
Well, I mean, the truth is too, I do like, I'm not saying this that you guys do this. Most of the time when Jacqueline posts pictures, it involves family.
Yeah.
Or the same thing with you, Arthur. But for me, I don't, because maybe part of it is like I'm a recluse, or I just don't want to hear the comments that people.
A lot of people don't like to post stuff on Facebook, and I get why.
I'm very, I mean, when I went on vacation, you guys knew, of course, I told you guys, but I wasn't making it public knowledge. Like, for me, it was just like, okay, I went somewhere, that's it. That's kind of like the length of what I did. But beyond that, nothing else needs to be said. You know what I mean? And so I find it very weird to be a part of a generation, because I am a millennial, to be a part of a generation that just does it for instant gratification and doesn't really know how to live a life outside of technology.
Yeah.
Because for me, when I do something, I'm going to do it. I don't do it for the likes. I don't do it for the Vine. I do it. Well, the Vine is dead now, but I do it for the Ryan. Like, this is what I
when Logan
want.
went to New York, when he was last year, I guess that was he went there.
Mm-hmm.
That kid took no pictures. The only picture he took was one like at his hotel window, and you couldn't see any background at all. Like, I'm like, you went there and took no pictures to show me. He's like, no.
No,
and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? But that's how he is. He's not like that either.
He's just probably, he's kind of a little bit like me, I guess, where it's the experience that kind of goes on for me. It's not the people's.
How many times do you see people like just like that, completely negating the experience of where they're at just so they can take their pictures? Now, I witnessed that while I was at the Berlin Wall. There was these two girls there that were just there to model fucking pictures in front of the Berlin Wall, rather than drink in the gravity of what that fucking wall represented.
Yeah.
They cared more about their Instagram likes, their online fucking presence. I mean, it is a fair commentary on the state of the world right now, and especially young people. It's the only way they can get those endorphins.
And that's why people are dying for selfies, right?
Yeah.
Literally dying.
I like that, dying for selfies. Yeah.
Yeah.
And because the thing is, we've seen that happen.
Oh, hell yeah. But I'm sorry, if you're going on top of a building to get a fucking selfie and you die, sucker.
Yeah.
Don't care. Don't give
Comes
a
with the
fuck.
territory. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk quickly. I have to talk about two stories. Let's talk about this one first, because I know Arthur will like this one. Because we always talk about fresh water, desalinating water, cleaning water, purifying water.
Yeah.
So there's a new thing that's come out from University of Texas at Austin. They've created a device, they say, that can generate clean and safe drinking water using sunlight and a cheap gel, which is like a hydrogel.
Okay.
And it can, at this point in time, they were able to do, and they took it from water from the Dead Sea and purified it to clean WHO, World Health Organization, acceptable drinking water standards.
That's savage. That's fucking amazing.
It's amazing. And
That's
it's
amazing.
cheap. It's cheap. They won't even have to completely overhaul what they already have existing in desalination systems.
Yeah.
It can be easily retrofitted. Amazing. And they can get up to, I think it said 25 liters a day for a household.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, it's time to make those patents available in the countries that need it and let them fucking produce this shit on their own.
Yeah.
Because this isn't something that I think should be for profit.
No, I agree. I agree. And can you imagine if you're able to make this work and you give these out, whoever these researchers are getting all the Nobel Prizes.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
They're going to make a lot of money just by,
Yeah.
I admit it was me.
That's great. That's awesome. Desalinization, as far as I'm concerned, is the only way to go. It's the only way to go. We have
a lot of water. Yeah,
exactly. We pretty much have unlimited water just sitting there. We just have to figure out a way to make it fucking drinkable.
And with 25 liters, if you were, that's enough for you to drink with, and you could, grow your plants in your garden. And, like anybody in like a little, desert village. Yeah, there's so much you could do with that. So
that's amazing.
That's fantastic. We'll be looking forward to that. And I always like to, report. I don't like to use the word report, but talk about, these kind of things, because water is the most important thing in the world right now.
People keep joking about, what's going on in Syria and this being World War III and shit like that. The actual World War III is going to come into place once the water supply starts to run out. And the water wars are going to be real. Like, I know.
Oh yeah, they will.
It's a bit of a tinfoil hat fucking thing, but it's the truth. They will happen. And I'm sitting ground fucking zero for probably some of the worst fucking place where it's going to hit. I mean, we got a lot of water fucking sitting here.
A lot of fresh water in all our freaking creeks and rivers and streams and lakes and Okay, now let's talk about Starbucks quickly. The big hoopla this weekend. I'm sure everybody knows. Bullshit what? Okay, so let's report on quickly and then we'll get Arthur's opinion. So according to the story, 2 black guys went into a Starbucks in Philadelphia, asked to use the washroom. The manager said they could not use the washroom because they hadn't bought anything. They said they were waiting for a friend, so they sat down and waited. Manager called the police. The police arrived. We're talking to them. Their friend showed up, which happened to be a white guy, said, "What's going on?" They said these guys refused to leave, and they were arrested and removed from the store.
Yeah, I mean, it's a private business. If they say no loitering and they don't want you in there, then I don't really see the issue. I don't think it's a case of fucking racial profiling. I really don't. I'd get booted out of a fucking Starbucks. I'm not black.
But there's people in Starbucks all day using Wi-Fi all day. They buy one coffee and stay all day.
Yeah, but they buy one $68 fucking coffee.
Yeah,
I'm
but
sorry.
These guys are waiting for their friend. They don't want to order until their friend gets there.
It's a private business. They can fucking do it if they want.
Like, seriously,
it's a private business.
I think that was racist. Why weren't you know what I mean? And
I don't know. I think it's a big step to jump straight to racism. You can't prove it. You can't prove that they were booted out because of the color of their fucking skin.
They weren't causing a ruckus. Everybody in that Starbucks said they weren't causing a ruckus. They weren't misbehaving. They weren't doing anything. All they did was ask to use the bathroom. When they said they couldn't use it, they said, "Okay, fine. We're going to wait for our friend."
Yeah,
You never stood in a Tim Hortons and waited for somebody?
I have. Back when they had the 20-minute limit, and then they said you can't be here anymore. You passed the 20 minutes, and I left because it's their business, it's their rules, and they have the right to fucking tell me when I can and can't be there.
I don't know. I think something's up with this.
My whole thing is just accusing it of being racist. That's my whole issue, because it's not. You can't fucking prove it, and I'm sick and tired of any time anything happens to a fucking person of color, it's cries of racism. You can, not everything in the world is fucking racist.
Disprove. You can't disprove it wasn't racism.
Yeah, but there's the whole false negative thing. Now you sound like a goddamn Christian trying to argue the existence of God.
I'm just saying, if you can't prove it was racism, you also can't not prove that it wasn't racism.
And if I say God's not real and you say it's real, then who has to, who has the burden of proof?
Well, the CEO of the company has apologized.
Of course.
And the manager was fired.
Of course. Of course, because no one can take any fucking anything anymore. If you do anything to a fucking person of color and you're not a person of color, guess what? You're losing your job. You're now labeled as a fucking racist. That's the way of the world now.
Unless you're a cop.
Unless you're a cop, yeah. But the cops are just inherently racist because they took a job. No, I'm just tired of this shit. I just really am.
Yeah, I don't know. Something about this does stick in my craw. I do kind of feel like it was a racist thing.
Well, okay, I'm in the middle of this with you guys. When you were first telling the story, I'm like, okay, well, what's weird about it? Until you had mentioned the key word. Then the friend arrives, which they weren't lying. There was an actual friend. And okay, so for a person who enjoys and loves Starbucks. I go to Starbucks a lot. But I'm an in and out kind of a person at Starbucks too, though. Like I order my stuff. Like I typically use the app now. I'm kind of a newbie with the app thing. And then I pick it up because I just really don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
But there are people who sit there, not to defend Jacqueline on this, who sit there for hours on end and are never, because the understanding is Starbucks is supposed to be that kind of an environment. There is only one Starbucks that I am aware of. One that has a time limit, and that's in the city. I want to say it's by Christopher Street. That it does say 1 hour limit, because there are people who would stay there for hours, and it's kind of found to be disrespectful. I don't know if this is an American thing. When you are asked, "Hey, can you leave now?" because you've been here for God knows how long. You know what I mean? I don't know if this or what you're saying, Arthur, is necessarily true or necessarily wrong, but it's kind of the thing at Starbucks. Like you can stay there. I've stayed at a Starbucks for 2 hours at one point. Granted, I kept buying drinks, and I and it was fine.
I know old people and like weird scooter people. Not that everybody in a scooter is weird, but these specific people are. That go to our local Tim Hortons and just stay in there for like 5-6 hours, and I don't know if they're buying more coffee, maybe, but they're more than 20-minute time limit is all I'm saying.
Well, but even put it in perspective at a mall, people who go in there who don't go do anything and just sit down at the thing because it's in the summertime and it's too hot, they can legally be asked to leave because it's private, but
that's my whole thing with it. I don't give a fuck about anything else. It's a private business, and if they say you can't wait inside for your friend, you can't wait inside for your friend.
But isn't that the manager? But is it that the manager was fired correctly because he decided to then put upon what he thinks is the establishment's views, and it happened to not be the case?
Why? I understand why they refuse service to the bathroom. I have no problem with that. When I go to Tim Hortons and use the bathroom, I buy a donut or a drink or whatever. That I have no problem with. But if they said we're waiting for a friend, why then? I don't understand why he had to call the police, why they couldn't wait inside. People wait. When you go to a bar and you're waiting for a friend, you stand in the lobby, you wait for your friend. If you go to, I went to a restaurant to wait for my family and I had to sit there for 10 minutes before anybody showed up. Should I have been kicked out while I was waiting?
If they asked you to.
But why? What's the reasoning to kick them out?
I have no idea. I'm not the business owner.
But when you're a manager, if you're refusing...
But the manager is not the business owner, too. Like, that's kind of the point that I'm trying to get at as well, is the manager is not the business owner. What you're supposed to do is just manage.
But Starbucks will give you a free ice water.
Yeah.
If they really wanted to get around that, they could have got the free ice water and sat there. They wanted to wait and order their drinks for their friend. I don't get why they couldn't sit there and wait if they're not being disruptive.
Racism, apparently. It's
Well,
got to be the answer. It has to be
think-
racism because it's
Well,
the
but
only
what
it's the
else
only
would it-
narrative else that there is. It
But
can't
what
be
else would
just
the
that they
answer
didn't
be
want
if
them
it's
there.
not? If it's not
She
racism,
just didn't
what else
want
would
two
it
young
be?
men in their 20s in the thing without.
Who
It
happen
could
to be dark skinned.
It could be ageism. You know what I mean? I just find it so fucking dishonest every time anything like this happens, and automatically it's racist. It's a fucking issue between black and fucking white. Prove it.
But sometimes it is.
Sometimes it is, but
Sometimes it is.
fucking prove it. I'm so
think-
tired of
Well,
hearing about
so far
fucking
we haven't
everything
heard
being
from the men.
racist.
The two men have not spoken to anybody, and the manager has not spoken to anybody.
Well, but part of my thing is like part of this is you can't. Okay, and this is a really hard statement to make. Part of it is we can't just keep saying prove it, because then we could say the same thing about the people who do the shootings, these mass shootings, and be like, prove that he's crazy. Well, how can you at this point? We can't. We just have to deduce by what's out there in terms of evidences.
But what's the evidence? Like, where are we even getting the facts from this? Do you know what I mean?
That they're both African Americans.
Okay.
And that their friend was white, and that Starbucks then was strong enough to fire somebody.
I still don't see that as an act of racism, and that's like, again, that's my beef. The morality of kicking them out or letting them stay is, to me, I don't give a shit. I really don't. My beef with this is saying automatically that this is a fucking act of racism. You need to prove it. I'm just so tired of everything
But it's
being
for us
racist.
to say you need to prove it when, let's face it, there is such thing as racism, and black people have been removed from stores or restaurants
Would it
or
be more comfortable if we made
clubs
Yeah.
just because they were black? Black people do get followed around stores.
I'm
Because
not
they just
denying
made
that.
Okay, so
Fuck,
we
I
don't.
get fucking followed around stores. Can I claim racism?
I have too. I was followed around just
Like-
last year in freaking La Senza.
I can't go to fucking Walmart. Like, I don't give a shit about anything else about this. I just do not like it automatically being an issue of racism. Unless you can prove that even, find a fucking tweet from this manager that even fucking slightly hints at racism. I'll be like, okay, I concede this one. But until then, I'm not going to fucking bite that hook. I'm not. I'm tired of people jumping to that fucking conclusion
I don't
instantly.
disagree with you on that, though, because that's the thing is we are so quick to kind of color everything racism
Instantly.
or whatever. Yeah, it's true in that sense, but sometimes it's kind of hard because I feel like all the facts are there. It's kind of like with the O.J. Simpson thing. It's like, oh, really? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to explain because sometimes it's just inexplicable for me. It's the writing is on the wall with this, but there's a part of me that also wants to say, well, it's not as far as racism. That's why a lot of the times I'm in the middle of things because I don't know quite how to color it. Like, it's not black and white sometimes. It's just kind of in the gray area.
Yeah.
I
don't know. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, two dudes got kicked out of a Starbucks. Like, I don't even understand how it's news.
Because the thing is, I'm the only on this panel. I'm the only person that's not white.
I am a person of color. Thank you.
Oh my God! Here we go.
I'm like 13% victim now, bud. So,
but I'm 100%. I've never been asked to leave. I swear to God, guys, I have never been asked to leave any establishment. I have been denied access to a bathroom, but I've never been asked to leave. And sometimes that's why a lot of the times I always say, but why does this happen to other people? Like, this is why I always ask, but why? Like, were you doing something weird? Were you maybe acting a little foolish? Because it's never happened to me. And trust me, I was a 17-year-old once,
Yeah.
a long time ago, back in the good old days. But I've never been asked to leave. And trust me, I've been to a Starbucks and hung out there for hours. Even Barnes and Noble. You guys familiar with Barnes and Nobles? I don't know if you have it in Canada. Yeah. I would stay there for hours, just sitting down on the floor, mind you, reading a book that I've never purchased. And I was even asked, "Oh my God, do you like that book? That book's really, really good." Blah 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 blah. But I was never asked to leave. So
Yeah.
it's weird for me to kind of see or hear rather these stories of people being asked to leave or vacate premises because of that. And that's why I think a lot of the times I'm quick to jump, maybe it's racism. But then again, I'm not white. So
it's the
I
easiest
don't
scapegoat.
know.
Crying racism is just the easiest scapegoat. And especially with how the term racism has been changed, the definition isn't what most of us know it as. So anything, it's the easiest fucking thing to jump to is it must be an issue of racism. It must be an issue of sexism.
Well, but what else? The thing is, too, though, Arthur, not to defend anybody, but like, what else can we really call it? Is it new age racism, though?
How many people were in the store? Maybe they were almost at the fucking point where they're at fire capacity. I know there's crazy fucking laws for that kind of shit with who can be in the building and stuff like that. I don't know if that's. It's just again, I don't really give a fuck about this. It just
and maybe it's hard for. Where did this happen,
instantly?
Jacqueline?
It's racist.
It was in Philadelphia.
Okay, it's in Philadelphia.
City of brotherly love. They're fucking kind as shit, man.
Well, for
Sure
New Yorkers,
Sure they are.
They're the best.
For us New Yorkers, right?
I remember you ranting about what a shit city and what terrible people Philadelphians were just a couple weeks ago.
Fuck Philadelphia. Fuck Philly sports fans. Flyers suck. Suck it. Dick.
No, I was. Well, can I? Okay, just to make this quick point. I know we're about to end the show.
Yeah.
For us New Yorkers, it's very weird. The idea of somebody wanting to be in a place for longer than 2 seconds.
It's weird
because,
shit to me.
like I said to you, when I go to a store, it's I don't do the whole touristy like waiting and blah 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 and window shopping. I don't do that. It's eye on the prize, take it, pay, buy. Like I don't. No. Like it's got to be quick for me. And if it takes longer than 5 minutes, guess what? I'm leaving the fucking line. And I do that.
Everybody's different, right? Meet me at the restaurant. I'll be there in a few minutes, and
which is always a lie. It's never a few minutes.
People are always late. Some people are always late, Sister Patty. We love you still, but some people are always late. Right? Yeah. So maybe they were just waiting for their friend. Should they have ordered a drink? Probably. I would have ordered a drink myself while I was waiting. Yeah. But maybe Buddy was buying for them. Hey, meet me there and I'll buy the coffee. You're always late, Sister Patty. You know it.
But that's it, though. Like, right there. Like, just you keep throwing out different scenarios of what could have been.
Well, but you have to.
But we don't know. And that's my whole beef. Yeah. That's why I find it very dishonest for anyone to just jump to racism.
Well, but this is the common.
None of us know. We don't know what the fuck happened.
But this is the common thread amongst us, though, Arthur. And I have to say, this is why I think we all get along after the show and we all laugh and stuff.
Oh, of course.
Even if it gets heated. Because we are kind of rational enough people to think, well, what about... Because it's what you're supposed to do. But there are people who don't do that. No. And it is infuriating sometimes when people are just like, but that's what, but... Life isn't as black and white as we want to make it to be. There's always the grayscale, and we just have to be respectful enough to realize that there is this grayscale, and sometimes you have to throw that out and kind of, you're not going to get the answers to the questions if you don't ask them. I found that at least to be the case in my life. It's like, are you going to give me the dick? And if you don't give me the dick, if I don't ask, you're not going to give me the dick.
Well, I'm not going to answer it. At some point, if they ever release this manager's name, if this manager ever gives a statement, the internet will research every Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, shit house, cat house, town house, whatever they've ever done. And I guess we'll see if they ever made a racist statement.
Well, and that's it, right? I mean, we're all just fucking victims of the court of public opinion anyway, so none of it really fucking matters. You could be the most genuinely nice person ever, never had a racist thought or anything like that. But someone will find a fucking picture of you 7 years ago where you were in the vicinity of some asshole hanging a Confederate flag and your life's now ruined. Welcome to the fucking world we live in.
Yes,
welcome to the world we fucking
live in.
This
manager should just stay silent, in my opinion.
Yes, never release your name.
Reason why I find the whole thing of jumping to racism so fucking dishonest.
Yeah, something in this, but my gut, something, and usually I'm the same way. I don't like to jump to racism either, but something about this one is sticking in my craw, and I like to believe my gut. So.
I get it. Trust me, I understand, but I'm done jumping to fucking conclusions, and I want people to fucking at least do the same. Stop just
Yeah.
jumping to racism. Until it's proven. Like, I'm
And
sorry,
that's why
I'm
we
tired
talk
of
about it, so we can get different opinions, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well, we'll end on a bang.
Yeah.
Have a good couple days. We'll be back on Wednesday at our usual time, 6:30. And thanks for listening.
Go Leafs, go.
No,